How's it going, everyone? In this video, I want to talk about 3 day trades I took today. Yes, that's more than I normally take. But before we get started, be sure to subscribe to my channel, click that thumbs up button, and click that bell icon so you do not miss on any of my upcoming videos. Let's get right into this. First off, let me switch back to the 5 minute here. So the first trade I took was with Jaden. I'm sure all of you already know him, but he's another admin inside Team Bull, one that originally started Team Bull. But anyways, I took a trade with him that he called out, pulled back up to this like this 411.5 area, went short here, caught this little move down here. Wasn't a huge trade, but I had decent size, and I managed that trade really, really well. I made good off this, right? Before I go on, I want to point out that I made $790 on the day. I'm thankful for that. Not my best day, but I did end up stopping out on the second trade I took, and let's talk about that for a second. So we came up. I was watching this 412 for a reject, right? So we got in right here, come back down, trimmed, had a nice trim down here, trimmed it $10+ per contract, I believe it was. Then we came up, stopped me out on the remaining contracts. The first trim, I typically trim half, but I was so light in this, I took like 3/4 off. I had like 5 contracts running it when I got stopped out, but we managed to risk well. That I did take a little row in this because we did chop for a minute before we continued on. Biden was late for the meeting. I was waiting on that meeting to see which way it was going to push us, and I was ready to stop out if it went bad. It came up. I got stopped out right here. Stopped out right here on this candle. Then we came out, pushed up right to my reject. I told everyone I was watching this 413 area for puts. I got in. This is my third trade and took the move back down. I definitely paper handed this one because, we've been experienced chops so far. Come in, pull back down. I was completely out of this for a nice scalp. And that put me at $790 in profits today. But I mean, where else can you make money like that in such a short time frame? This looks like a very drawn out time, but what is that, like an hour and a half, 2 hours max? Nowhere else you can make money like that. Very blessed. Let's talk about the trade that I stopped out on. I want to go a little bit more in depth on that. I feel like that's probably what a lot of you are here about because this was caught out live in Team Bull. Some people did really well on this. Some people lost a little money. I would say that's due to entering the trade late and holding for hope. Some people held all the way through this big move up and they sold down here and they made money. Me personally, I always like to follow my plan, right? So if I see it, something's telling me, okay, it's time to get out of this trade, I get out of it. I don't care where it's at. And I want to point out, we was well in profit right here on this candle. I told everyone, I said, I'm waiting for us to fail this VWAP before I sell. We never failed. I never sold. And I end up stopping out on my runners slash part of my position here. I've talked about this several times, but I want to touch on it a little right now. As humans, we do not like to take losses. We don't like to lose. I'm sure you've all played a game of ball or something with someone that was a sore loser, right? They do not want to lose. It's not in our nature. And it's the same thing with trading, but you have to overcome that. If we can't overcome taking losses or stopping out of our runners at break even or maybe break even on the trade, then we're gonna lose in the long run. You have to overcome that. You're gonna have losing trades. I promise you. That's one thing I can promise you. You've got to figure out how to be the best loser in this game. Do not move your stop loss. Have a game plan. Follow it through. If it hits your stop loss and it is a losing trade, if you followed your plan, that's a win to me. May not be a win in the profit, but it's a win in the long run, I assure you. One last thing I want to say before we go is, when we get into a trade like this, I can manage my position great. I've got really well at it. If you're uncomfortable at any point, simply get out. Plenty of times to take profit. There's always going to be another trade. Okay? If a trade doesn't match your criteria, fit your criteria, do not take it. Wait on whatever confirmations you need to get in that trade. One thing I've noticed, I see a lot of people like on social media, like, the bigger trading names, see a lot of people making $50,000 a day, That's not going to be everyone. Do not base your profits on someone else's. If you're making 100, 200, $300 a day consistently and you're managing your risk well, you're stopping out where you're supposed to, you're winning in this game. And that's all I have for you. I hope this helped you out. Be sure to hit that thumbs up button if you haven't, and I'll see you next time.